Adab. Uh, my name is Purna, and I welcome and thank our guests and members and audience to have joined this online discussion on understanding slow and traditional fabric and its maintenance. The program is possible in collaboration with the maintainers and Repair Cafe Collective India team. We have our two established guests today, Miss Leslie Schroeder, who is a blend of practical skills and community engagement. She is a contemporary fiber crafts of sewing, knitting, and learning to weave on a floor weave, and a very proud homeschooling mother. Miss Leslie is joining us from Wisconsin, and we have our great Dr. Ismail Mohmed Khatri, who is an expert on Ajrakh, and he is a ninth generation printer and an honorary PhD from De Montfort University. And Dr. Ismail is joining us from Kutch, Ajrakh. I would also like to thank Miss Liliana, who is a maintenance representative, and Mr. Himadri, who is teaching at CEPT University and a researcher, and our distinguished guests for putting together this program. And of course, a big thank you to our maintainers, community, family, to spread the word about this event on social media. So why choose slow textiles? Naturally and thoughtfully crafted materials can be healthy for skin and body, and environment too. The old wisdom of buying less and better shifts us to invest on items that last longer and offer true value. Beyond that, there is a deeper connection to the threads of our fabric, which would be discussed in great detail in these presentations. Taking the time to care for our clothes ensures that they endure and stay meaningful. I would now like to invite Ms. Leslie to share her work on fiber flax and linen revival. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and good evening, good morning to everyone. Putna, I need you to just stop sharing that screen and I'll pop mine up.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, so thank you so much to Liliana, the maintainers, and the Repair Cafe for giving me this opportunity to talk about something that I absolutely love talking about, which is flax to linen. I started the organization Midwest Linen Revival in 2022, so just a few years ago, but have been enthusiastically promoting the idea that my region could be growing this flax plant for the textile linen. And I want to tell you a little bit about where it is that I live, Wisconsin, which is north central United States. We're just separated by a really big lake from Canada. The picture that I'm showing you here, I just want to show that it was really cold. This was the winter solstice of just the most recent December 21st, and it was negative 18 degrees Celsius that day. And so you see, if you want to be outside, you got to bundle up. And Wisconsin has a pretty wide swing of temperatures, from negative 48 Celsius being the absolute extreme to 45 degrees Celsius. So actually can get pretty hot, can get pretty cold. And this textile linen was something that people have been using for tens of thousands of years. And as an undergarment, it is a great layer between wool and the skin. Up here, we actually have an expression, you don't want to use cotton as an underlayer. People actually say cotton kills, because if you start to sweat under all of that layers, it won't actually let you dry off quickly. So linen is a really great layer between them, your skin and the wool. So I want to tell you a little bit about my upbringing. I wanted to, actually, before I went on from Wisconsin, I wanted to say that this is the ancestral homeland of the Native Americans, the Ho-Chunk, the Fox, Potawatomi, and Kickapoo people. My people came here from Europe starting in the 1600s, and then my most recent immigrants from the 1800s. So actually my family's been here for a while, but didn't grow up with a lot of cultural connections. So here I am wearing a whole full outfit that I either made by knitting or sewing myself. but I wasn't raised to make my own clothes. It was something I was always curious about, but it wasn't until I was an adult that I got to explore this. I was raised thinking more like clothes that you made were less desirable, were something that you would only make if you really didn't have enough money to go buy something. So as an adult, I got to explore it. And so I started out by sewing, and then I was more curious. I wanted to deepen into it. I learned how to knit. I wanted to deepen into it. I learned how to weave. And at the same time, I wasn't raised with a healthy food way. So I was raised on like microwave food. But as an adult, I got to explore what it was that I was interested in. I learned how to cook from some friends, and then I wanted to grow my own food. So I got a garden, and then I wanted to forage my own food. So I went looking for wild foods that I could identify and eat. And I would not have been able to say those words then, but what I was doing, what I was looking for was a sense of connection and belonging. So what I talk about with in relation to with the maintainers is repair, but it's relationship repair. So through doing that, through my clothing, through my food, I managed to repair my relationship with my food, with my clothing, and then ultimately with where those things came from, which one day, kapow, the textiles and me out wild foraging met in wild foraged cordage. So people have been using fibers from plants for literally tens of thousands of years. And it was so critically important when people developed this technology, which is just simply twisting fibers together. You radically improve the strength of them, and then you can make them as long as you want. So once you're able to make a string, you radically improve your ability to survive, because you can make a snare to catch a bunny, you can make a net to catch fish, you can put a string on a bow, which increases your ability to move that projectile in accuracy and speed. So once I realized that, this was a huge kapow to me. I felt more connected to humanity over time than I had ever imagined was possible. So again, it's relationship repair. Obviously, I've been mending my clothes too. I think of that pair of pants as the ship of Theseus. I'll just keep on patching them. I have patches on top of patches, and I'm also, taking care of loving my kids, letting them know that they're attended to when I'm fixing their clothes. So these all came together for me, all of them in the flax plant. So the flax plant is something that people have been growing for, again, thousands and thousands of years, and making use of the fiber from this plant. The fiber of flax, so I wanted to say, it's from the stem of the plant. So it's called a bast fiber. Unlike cotton, where that's coming from the bull or sheep, it's obviously the hair of the animal. And one of the things that's really important about that is noticing that the flax plant is about 1 meter tall, or around 3 feet. So it's a very long staple fiber, and therefore needs to be spun in a slightly different way than cotton or wool. People are more familiar today with flax as all the various products that it can be made from, especially the seed. People eat the seed, it's incredibly good for you. And then you can press the seed for oil. And the stiff inner part of the plant, called the chive, can be made into all kinds of incredible products like acoustical tile. And I'm not going to dig too deep into that because I'm going to try to move along fast. So I want to say, in my repair, in my exploration, I found that there's stories that, as a European descendant, I'm very familiar with, like Rumpelstiltskin, which is straw to gold, or Sleeping Beauty, which originally was a story called Briar Rose, and she got a piece of flax chive stuck under her fingernail, and that's what set off the 100 years sleep. And so why I'm bringing this up is because this is something that people had this relationship with daily. Everyone, in one way or another, was involved in textile making, either from growing the plants or processing them or weaving them. And in the picture you can see here, of Sleeping Beauty, off in the corner, that stick that looks like it's got a little bit of fluffy material of plants on it is the fiber of the flax plant, and it's on a distaff. That's really important because we'll see that again in the next couple of images. Like I said, flax is a long staple fiber, so that's part of how it's spun differently. It has to be mounted on a distaff. Right. So here, the 3 fates, you can see they're all, again, they're spinning flax. So deeply into the stories of what was important. This is about, spinning your lifeline. This is about really thinking about using that textile making as expressions of so deeply important that we're thinking about our life like that. we weave a story. All of them are really part of how we express and think about that textiles is buried in our language. Flax even gets a mention, actually a couple mentions in the Bible, about women processing flax being really what you value in a woman because what she's contributing. So again, an economic importance. So where is flax today? Most of the world's flax is grown in Normandy, France, and in Belgium. So it's a really pretty small area compared to, I got to go meet some amazing farmers. That's the flax as far as the eye can see behind us there. So from once, this really important textile where everybody would have been wearing it, everybody's involved in it. Currently, it's less than 0.5% of the global textiles are flax. So the history of flax in Wisconsin is all of like the people of my ancestry, the earliest European immigrants, all would have brought some flax with them and grown just enough in their family plot to meet their family's needs. And there were a couple mills in the Midwest. There were actually a lot more on the East Coast and on the West, but in Wisconsin, it only made an appearance for a number of decades as a mechanized industrial scale process. And one of the reasons is that it could not compete economically with cheap cotton because of the wild inequities of uncompensated labor of an enslaved people. And then inexpensive cotton gave way to the massive amount of synthetics that we have in our textiles right now. And these are not just an issue from the heavy input environmentally from their production, but also as we are wearing them and washing them, this is 30% of microplastics in water are directly related to the textile industry. And then, of course, at the end, they don't break down, so they don't go back into the soil. They just sit in a terrible heap. Often in at the end of the line in the global south, there's like, maybe you've heard about that huge trash pile of clothes in Chile that you could see from space. So we got a problem with that all the way from one end to the other. Flax is a solution potentially for us to be ramping up as a global textile again. And it's one of the plants that can be grown, very environmentally friendly. It works really well in a lot of different small grain rotations, and it doesn't need the inputs of pesticides. It doesn't need to be irrigated. So where we at right now is I wanted to show you that, again, relationship building, and it's very tactile. The process of breaking that fiber out of the stem of the flax plant is on the left, we've got breaking. In the middle, it's called scutching. And on the right, it's called hackling. So all those are steps of removing the fiber and loosening it from the stiff shive part of the plant that keeps it upright. And there's one that I'm not showing here, but will in a second, which is the first step of processing. It's called retting, which is a slight decomposition of the plant, which happens out in the field. I wanted to share with you some pictures of a friend of mine, Bee. She's made a garment here. We just get to see the pictures all by hand. On the left, she was just demonstrating a little drop spinner, but on the right is she was using a spinning wheel to spin the flax that she had grown. And then she wove it. And so this became a garment that was a gift for a friend that she would use in religious ceremonies. So there's not a lot out there of people doing this full process of growing it and processing it by hand and then spinning it and weaving it. But there's a few people out there really honoring and creating these. What I've been up to as an organization of Midwest Linen Revival is from 2024, but I've been engaging with volunteers for planting and harvest, and I've been having field days. So I've been growing flax at different farms around my area, and then also offering workshops where people are given that opportunity to hands-on see the unlocking of the fiber from the plant. And gosh, is that fun for people to be presented with seeing that. So what would I like to do next is I would like to have more production. I'd like to have farms growing flax. And there's a lot of hurdles along the way. We don't actually have enough seed to plant. So we need to start increasing our seed. And I got last year 53 varieties from the USDA Germplasm Bank. And then out of that 53 that I grew out, I selected 16 for their characteristics that were desirable. And then we need to look into maybe some mechanized harvest. Right now we're doing it all hand pulling. In the middle there, that's my older daughter, very industrious. And so it's an interesting question, where would we fall on the scale of this? Another barrier to having more flaxen is this knowledge of the ret, which I mentioned earlier, is a slight decomposition of the plant. You have to be really careful and observing it and making sure that it doesn't go too far, but it goes far enough. And then the processing equipment. So over there on the left, I've got, my old lady friends who can spin flax. And then there's some equipment that's super small, like tabletop scale, which if anybody is a tinkerer and would like to develop something like that with me, that would be exciting. And then, of course, there's huge industrial equipment, like I saw in Normandy. This company Deporte really has the corner on that market, producing that big equipment. So when I think about starting to expand, I do not want to necessarily have anything to do with replicating the current textile industry. So Audre Lorde is here to remind us that we need to change our thinking, or we'll end up with the same problems in the end. So as I embark on this, I'm looking at centering relationships, and I'm looking at my connection with the environment and with the people who've made my clothes, and process the clothes. And what we really want is for it to be not the epic human rights violations that our current textile industry has, but rather where everybody feels like they are contributing creatively and meaningfully. And I think that the future of luxury fashion is handmade, and it's not even so much about what people saying like that's what they want. It's about the story that is invested in the relationship with the clothes, and it's about people having the opportunity to wear their values. So right now we have very limited opportunity to connect with garments that we'd say, yeah, this is absolutely expressing the place that I live and my values of integrity with relationship. So there's an organization that's called Fiber Shed, which if you don't know about, definitely I encourage everybody to go research a little bit. They have been doing a great job of promoting exactly what I was just saying, as far as those relationships all the way around the cycle of clothes, and they call it soil to soil. So not that it ends up in a giant heap that you can see from space, but rather that there's a regenerative process all the way through. And then I'd also like to mention the North American Linen Association, which is very collaboratively bringing together all of us across North America who are interested in expanding production of the flax plant to linen. I'd like to say, there's a number of organizations that, again, I know I'm moving through stuff fast, so if you've got questions at the end, just circle back. There's a number of organizations like Pennsylvania Flax Project, Taproot in Nova Scotia, Biolin in Saskatchewan, and Fiber Revolution over in Oregon State, that are all moving this forward with really all of the joy and enthusiasm and connection that you can imagine in our relationship with flax. I'd like to invite everybody, if you happen to be able to come to the Madison area, this festival that we'll be having over the summer solstice around our area, with a bunch of really fabulous things like demonstrating that hand spinning and visit some of my flax growing in a field. We will have some historic linen textiles. We're actually going to have a linen fashion show. And so lastly, here's some opportunities to connect with me. You should be able to grab those QR codes right to my website, where you can sign up for emails if you'd like to stay connected like that, or if you Instagram or Facebook. That is, I'm going to leave those up for 1 second. Actually, you know what? I'm going to throw them in the chat too. So I know that I want to say I was speaking quickly. However, yeah, it's an opportunity to ask questions at the end, right?
Thank you, Leslie, for this great presentation. I really like the tagline, "Feel Rock." And it really makes sense to me. And there are many questions which are also, I think I can see in the chat box. Probably we'll take it after the second discussion. One of the question is by Margaret, which says, is cotton still cheaper than linen today without the use of enslaved labor? So that's a really deep thinking question. And it will take most of our discussion. So thanks for pointing it out, Margaret. But having said that, it's a great work that you're doing, Leslie. And I think we need to give proper recognition to these initiatives in our lives. And I don't know, they should be talking about it in the schools also, schools and education also. So yeah, so I would now move to our next guest, and he's a person from Kutch and Ajrakpur. I'm just sharing, Dr. Ismail. I am just sharing the presentation. So I would like to welcome Dr. Ismail to talk about his work on Ajrakh and its revival and its tradition and everything.
Okay. So thank you for the opportunity to the Zoom meeting. You hear me? Okay.
Yes, I'll just
yeah.
see if I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So this is our Ajrakh is the very old, about the 5,000 years old. And when I was smaller, about 13, 14 years. So our family is working with the local people are here. They are cattle herders and farmer and anything. So my father is the first half life, he doing the natural dye, and after half life, he doing the chemical. When we was a star, then we have the chemical color. And that is the color bright, and our local people are light. So we working with the Jat people, Muslim Maldari people, Rabari people, Karmi people, farmer people. So we was working there, but we have the coming one organization from Gujarat government, the following Gujarat State Handicraft Handloom Development Corporation, and the short name is Gurjari. He is provide the work for the artisans, and artisans are working to the fashion, but we have not knowledge for the fashion. In fashion, which kind of the costume are wearing the people. We know about the local people are here. So they are came to our home and making uh, layout and color combination and each. So the business go ahead, but my father think is a divine knowledge to the natural dye good for the future. So we are learning little better natural dye. But one time those girls are found one piece and asked my father, how you make this one? And my father said, this is our grand people are making this color, and the color are coming dull, not like the bright. So we think is the chemical color is good, but she know that we have the knowledge, then other people are coming to looking, and teacher are coming, student are coming, and then some foreign people are also coming. They are speaking English, and we doesn't know English. We are learning only 7 Gujarati in our countryside. So I have a hobby to speaking English. So I may start to the speaking English, and slowly I will explain to my process. And we have the coming people and the communication. Then we also know this is the chemical color is toxic, and they are making lose to our next generation. So then what happened, in Europe area, they about 1840, they making two colors, They are eco-friendly color, not toxic. The one is the alizarin and one indigo synthetic. And then after they are developing the color and putting toxic, then what happened, the skin cancer is huge in the Europe area. Then WHO watching and analysis, then this is the skin problem the coming from the colors. So he announced, if you want to save the skin cancer, then you wear the white cloth. Then some students are learning in the university, in the college, and they're saying they found some cloth from the Egypt on the mummies. The cloth are colored, the cloth are printed. What is that color? Or that time no chemical. So that is the color, the natural. Then people we have coming more to the looking the natural dye and how you making, and I am explain them. So I am explain Ajrakh, because in Ajrakh whole color are coming. Many other are costume like Malir, about 18 type of the skirt, 10, 12 type of the well cloth, and each community wise the different dresses. So that if I explain the Malir, they have only four color: the white, red, maroon, and black. Then the coming question: how you make blue color? How you make red color? So that is the difficult for me to explain. Then I make the one book like book, the stage of the Ajrakh, the white one, and then washing, and then dyeing with marblum, then printing with lime and gum, then printing with iron. Iron is black color. The black color we making from the old iron, jaggery and basin we keeping several day, and then drainage water and mixing tamarind seed powder and making paste and the printing. Then alum printing. So and indigo dyeing. So we make alum resist. We using clay, millet flour, gum also, and alum. So then dyeing in indigo and then washing and then developing the color. Ajrak is the red and blue color, but we have the platform for the explain to the people here to divert from other color like henna, like rhubarb root, like sapan wood, like lakh. So that coming different color. In Ajrak, not green color, but we have the platform to green color, so we have easy to explain to the people how the making green color, how making blue color, how making red, how making black color. So then we have coming many people to looking this one, and I explain him. And then this is the Ajrak is famous in the world, and today is the good demand for the Ajrak. And then uh, we are our native place is Dhamadka. There is a river and they run through water, but the river dried in 1989 about. So we have difficulty for the water, and we buying land and make well and making tank to process ahead. But water level is go to down and down. Then we make big borewell about 100 meter. Then we getting very bad quality water, a lot of iron content inside. Then we are worry about this business, and we thinking we stop this job and making another thing. So in our communities, the other people are searching to different place, but those areas same situation for the water. Then happened an earthquake in 2001 in January. So our people say we are moving other place. Then we make the new village of the Ajrakpur. So here we are also pulling water with the earth, but we are making here the treatment plant. We have a support to the central government, the handicraft mega cluster mission scheme, and they are 15 million rupees granted, and they make a water recycling plant. And because we are using again the water, so we save the water and future is better. So this is the our story of the now. in Ajrakhpur, about 100 workshop, and about 2,000 people are working in this. In Dhamadka also 60 workshop. There is also about 1,000 people are working, and government now we have the received some geographic identity to Ajrakh. So that is the also support for us the original Ajrakh. So you know the in we have the lot of marketing for 5 types of. First is the heavy market, and then lower, and then lower, and then lower. So and many kind of the customer in the market. Somebody I want to cheap, but they want to look like the traditional. So making the copy something. So some are in screen printing, some digital printing that happen in the area. So in the geographic identity, they give us the one right. So if somebody make a copy or the anything, to we are making case that it is possible. If some seller are selling to some live pieces to the Ajrakh, is he saying that this is the Ajrakh? But the government is giving penalty of them. So that is the right for us, and the saving to the this Ajrakh. If somebody want to pure Ajrakh, they need they have a if I am selling to the merchant and merchant are selling, if he buying from us, so then right goods are supply. So that is easy to the customer to the find to the original cloth. So that is our protection to the Ajrakh. Ajrakh is old about 5,000 years. They are received the proof from the ancient site, Harappan site, the Dholavira and Mohenjo-daro and Kalabangan. In Mohenjo-daro, the one available one idol come from the king princess. He is wearing Ajrakh. He is wearing Ajrakh like this. So the carbon analysis saying the before the addition 2,500 years old, and 2025 now, so about 350, 450 to 5,000 years to the Ajrakh. Purna, anything?
Yeah. Thank you, Ismail Bhai, for this nice presentation. I'll just
Okay.
stop. Um, okay. So, okay. So now we have some important questions, and
Yeah.
I would be discussing with you, Ismail Bhai, in a short while now.
Okay.
I will open this forum now to the audience.
Okay.
And Liliana, how much time we have? We have about 25 minutes.
Yes, we have about 25 minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to either unmute yourself or put it into the chat and we can ask our presenters.
Yeah, sure. So I think I'll stop sharing the screen right now. And okay, so I will open this to the audience. And I think my first question would be to Leslie by Margaret. Margaret, would you like to ask this question yourself?
Sure, I can ask the question. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. My question was for Lindsay about growing flax, and you mentioned that in North America, because of the use of enslaved labor, the preference, like during the 1800s, a lot of people switched from wearing linen fibers to cotton. And I'm wondering, is it still the case today that growing cotton is cheaper than growing flax without the use of enslaved labor, like just in terms of water intensity and harvest and all that sort of thing? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So it's also a matter of the, the cotton gin. So like the development of mechanized processing came earlier for cotton. And so like, but once you get the corner on the market, it's really hard to come back from that. So just like cotton's losing out to synthetics, it's really hard to come back from that, if that makes some sense. But our whole textile industry has like really wild inequalities. And, as Dr. Ismail just really illustrated for us, toxic dyes are still a thing. And just really unequitable economics across the globe. So people getting not paid enough in their, work, but also, unsafe conditions. Like just 2013, the Rana Plaza building collapsed and a lot of people lost their lives. So we have problems, and I'd say like those are economically originated. So not providing adequate, facilities or safety, and then not paying people fairly is still part and parcel to fashion, sadly.
Yeah. So, yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. We have a different theory about cotton in our country. So Ismail, Dr. Ismail, would you kindly talk about the traditional cotton that we grow here in Kutch?
Yeah, Kala cotton.
Yes, Kala cotton.
Yeah. Kala cotton is the traditional seed of the Kutch, and they have less water growing, and the top side that is eating to the animal and taking cotton, they're making clothes, and inside the seed is received oil, and rest of the oil, they also good food for the animal like cow and buffalo they are eating. So whole totally item are usable, and I have the Khmer organization. They are push up to the farmer to growing like this, and he make good production and selling.
Yeah. So see, India is a developing country, and we actually grew on cotton, being wearing cotton. And in our country, I am actually right now in a land where cotton is proponent, and it is like every household. We have great people who have spoken about spinning at homes and stuff. So, and now there's a struggle between the cotton which is being made in the factory as well as the traditional form of cotton. So, in our kind of space, we have actually struggled in cotton, linen, and traditional cotton. But we are more familiar with cotton. Actually, we grew up with cotton, so we see it as a very slow fabric for us.
Yeah, I think
Anyway,
that's really incredible and exciting, and I was thrilled to hear about that. And I'd say, it's really fabulous to be growing the plant that suits your landscape. And we talked about this before. Flax won't grow. Cotton won't grow in Wisconsin. Actually, no.
Yeah.
And after I just said that, I do know somebody who grew some cotton in Wisconsin, but they had to put it in a greenhouse to start it. So we don't have a long enough warm growing season to grow cotton. And that wonderful plant that you were saying, this like variation of cotton, I would just say make sure Monsanto doesn't get a hold of those seeds. And that I know that Mexico is one of the only, or the only country that has like basically like indigenous copyright on aesthetics. So like what Dr. Ismail is talking about, like the you have to get a permission to use a pattern by the people who have created it, and so like those traditional plants seems incredibly important to reconnect with and grow, and I love hearing about that.
Yeah, so thank you, Leslie. And now I have a question by Lauren. Lauren, would you like to ask to the audience? It's a very deep-rooted and a bigger question to, think about. And
Yes, and I'm very excited to hear from both perspectives because, of course, Leslie and Dr. Ismail, it's going to vary so much by the country and the culture of your country. So I am based in New York City in the United States, and there's a big in the United States there's a big culture of fast fashion, of people buying clothes that is just cheap and with not much of an awareness of how it's made. And I'd be interested in hearing how big fast fashion is in India, as well as what your reflections are on that. If there's also like a mindset of appreciating slow textiles more, or being more knowledgeable of the artisan or the artistry that goes beyond in producing textiles. But yeah, just to hear what your thoughts are on how you create a cultural shift of people caring about where their clothes is coming and appreciating it more, and just changing their consumer patterns around clothes and textiles, what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so Dr. Ismail, would you like to say a few words? Basically, her
Okay.
question is, how our
हिंदी
mindset of
हिंदी में
women.
हिंदी में बात करो.
I would just translate for him because, and also I'll translate back for the audience. वो पूछते हैं कि हम जो कॉमन लोग हैं, हम कैसे इसको सीखें और अपनी जिंदगी में लेके आए कि ये नेचुरल और स्लो टेक्सटाइल्स को हम कैसे अपनाएं, मतलब हम अपना जो कल्चर है वो कैसे चेंज करें, बिकॉज आज की डेट में जब हम कोई सामान खरीदते हैं हम उसके प्राइस की तरफ देखते हैं, हम देखते हैं कि ये तो बहुत जल्दी फास्ट फैशन है, बिकॉज फैशन चेंज हो रहा है ना. तो ये जो आपका अजरक है ये बहुत स्लो है और इसका कॉस्ट भी है, लेकिन हम इसको अपनी जिंदगी में कैसे लाएं, आपके कुछ थॉट पे बताएं आप कुछ.
तो that is the how we are coming from local costume to the fashion costume. That is one journey about 50 years. So we have, when we was making that one at that time, and not we have the enough instrument for the, we are giving to good quality to the people in the fashion area. So that we have we have need about 40, 50 years. But those are interesting, and those are know about what is this is the product. वो पूर्णा जी वो क्या कहते हैं, इसका कैसा क्या फैसिलिटी है,
सॉरी
गुणवत्ता क्या है,
द क्वालिटी.
हाँ. So the in the Indus Valley, the people, they are wearing Ajrakh because there is the Sindh in Kutch and Badmer side. They are living there, they are cattle herders. But there is also desert area, and in desert area night time too cool, daytime too hot. So in Ajrakh, that is the with cool, they giving hot, and in the summer they are giving cool, because the in the color they have a slightly thickness. If we are burning the Ajrakh and keep near the wall, the wall have to coming color from the smoke blue color, no black, because they dissolve the color with fire and they apply to the wall. So means whenever cool, then stop to the thread, and whenever hot, they will open the thread and air is coming and going to feeling cool. So you think we are thinking that the Maldari, the cattle herder community, how clever. They are one cloth and using both. Otherwise, he have a necessary to taking two kind of the cloth. One is the hot cloth, one is the cool cloth. And night time changing other cloth and daytime changing other cloth. This is the one cloth and they are twice using. So this is the kind of the facility, and that kind of the facility people know, then they are purchasing. Then they think is, oh, this is the double work. So cotton is the cool, and cotton, wool, and silk, they are natural fiber, and the natural fiber have facility to, they are the need our body, the temperature maintaining, and skin maintaining, and everything maintaining. And this kind of the people have the coming knowledge, then they are buying this one. You know, our market is very small, but those people are know about this, they are buying, not any people buying. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ismail. So, Leslie, you
Yeah.
have you have your thoughts on this question? It's a very relevant question. Probably, I mean, I have also a few things to say, but maybe after you.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren, for bringing that up. How do we get there? And yeah, no doubt we need a cultural shift. And I'd say, like, the definition of the word sustainable versus unsustainable, like, it's unsustainable. You literally can't sustain it. So either we'll choose it or the choice won't be an option. We just have to change our ways. Like, the structure of the Earth's capacity to handle what we're doing to it right now will come skittering to a halt. So one of the things that I think is really important about the whole repair experience is that in order to fix stuff, you have to be a skill carrier. So we have to have the skills to do it. So that's part of what I've been, working on and sharing, is that skills to hand produce flax. So we want to not lose those. That's incredibly important. Otherwise, we're in a world hurt. So I love everybody around the world, like indigenous cultures, that are holding on to those skills still for us. And how do we get back to valuing that to the place where we're, able to uplift that and be an economically rich situation for everybody? It's a cultural shift of what we are valuing, rather than just lots of garments. It means a few garments that are of high quality. And so we can get people there by shaming them. That's not fun. Or we can get people there by inspiring them. And so to me, it's that inspiring relationship. And it's saying to people, like, do you really value plastic and water? Do you really want to keep drinking that? Or do you value clean water? And this is the garments that you're going to choose. And they're going to cost more. And there's a couple of designers out there that I think are really inspiring. Maybe you want to go research them. There's also a podcast called The Business of Fashion. Lots of really delicious stuff on there. But there's one person that she's from Tunisia. It's Osei, the label. There's so many really good things happening out there. And what people are, increasingly saying in that narrative, rather than shaming people, and instead is inspiring people, is saying the future of luxury is handmade. Like, it is actually an absolute luxury to be able to wear your values. And that's what, that's the narrative. It won't be what people get there by, feeling bad about what they're wearing, but getting there by feeling thrilled about what they're wearing. And then a very practical way, we literally need infrastructure. We do not have some of the most basic processing, harvesting equipment. So we absolutely need investment in that, actual ability to process and produce things.
Thank you, Leslie. That's a great answer. And I would now quickly shift to the next question. I have Mr. Malkan Ahmed Saeed. Sir, could you read your own question, please? And it's a great question. It's also there in my mind. But would you please like to read your question? Mr. Malkan Saeed, Ahmed Saeed, are you still there? Okay. So I think yeah. Sir, would you kindly read your question? It's a great question. It comes to my mind also.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so I'm Miss Malka Ahmed Sayed, but yeah, I get that my name is not very easy to identify or rather pronounce. So my question is to Mr. Ismail Khatri, or rather Dr. Ismail Khatri. And कि हम इसको जो अजरक है उसको कैसे परखें, क्योंकि अभी डिजिटल या स्क्रीन प्रिंटिंग के भी अजरक से भी अजरक बनता है, जो कि हमको पता है कि ओरिजिनल नहीं है। और उसमें हम जो इंट्रोडक्शन हमको दिया गया था उसमें एक पार्ट था कि डबल या रिवर्स प्रिंटिंग भी होता है अजरक में, तो उसके बारे में आप थोड़ा कुछ बता सकते हैं क्या?
Yes, Ajrakh is printing both side and one side also. So how you identify the one is the natural Ajrakh, you can burn that the cloth and put behind the wall. The color are coming blue that I'm saying before, and you look, this is the Ajrakh. So very thin clothes, but we printing double side. Okay, so Ajrakh is double side printing and single side printing also. But now the more people like the single side printing, and they're making sari and dupatta or everything, or the cloth they are making. So you look, this is the block printing. This is the block printing, the front side. But you can looking the back side. Something you are found, some places more, some places less. The here is not you looking the even. If the back side is looking the even, that is the screen printing. And another one, the frame of the screen printing is the 2 feet by 4 feet. If something you found in 2 feet and then repeat and then repeat and then repeat, that is the signature of the screen printing. So that is the, and natural dye is not a bright color. That is the feeling the natural, like a nature color, like bird and animals, some color you found, that kind of the color, not very bright like chemicals. So that can you image to the what this is actually block printing or the screen printing or the natural dye or not dye.
Yeah.
Understand?
So,
Okay.
uh, Ms. Malkan, you want to clarify it further, or is it fine with you?
No,
I mean,
it's yeah. Thank you so
it's a
much.
difficult,
Okay.
it's a difficult question to answer because,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
we discuss about it because we all face this kind of issues when we go out, or when we want to buy something or whatever it is. We are always in a dilemma, which is the one. Thank you. And now I have another question from Pooja
May
Vijay.
I
So,
ask just one more question? What would be the
yes,
approximate cost of an Ajrak dupatta, let's say, or a 1 meter width of an 1 meter piece of Ajrak material? Uh,
In the yardage, that is the cloth, the making dress material, that about 250, it start to 250 and more than about 2000, 2000 rupees. Different cloth like silk or like velvet or the anything. And dupatta they started about 800 to maybe 5000 also. Sari also 300, 3500 to 25,000. The work money is the on depend on the work. The need more time, the more money. Okay.
okay.
yes, sir. Thank you so much. So at least
Thank
we
you.
know what we can actually just by the cost decide. Okay, this is, at least we know it is fake. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll now move to the next question, and probably we can take this the last question. And Pooja, Miss Pooja, would you like to read your question? This is really very thoughtful and very relevant to all of us. Would you kindly read this question?
Hello, everyone.
Because
I really appreciate today's discussion on slow textiles. It's such an important topic to that deserves more attention, especially as we think about sustainable and circular approaches to fashion. My question is to both Leslie and Dr. Ismail. I'm curious, what would it take to shift everyday habits around fast fashion in our cities or neighborhoods? Could space like repair cafes, community closets, or local collection spots help? What other kinds of spaces might support this change? And also, would simply shifting to handmade or natural textiles be enough to solve the problem?
Okay, so I'll first open it to Leslie. Leslie, would you like to answer it?
Yeah,
And of
thank
course, this
you.
is for everyone to answer also after the guest. Yeah, please, Leslie, go on.
Right. I'm sure this will be an ongoing conversation. I want to say
Yes.
that it's deeply rooted in our human nature to go collect stuff, because I'm sure all of us had ancestors who were hungry. And I know I had ancestors that probably were very, very cold and maybe even, died of hunger and cold. So I want to forgive us all for wanting a lot of clothes because it is deeply rooted in our desire to collect that up. And it just happens to be that we're living in a time where that's incredibly available to many of us. So one of the things that I really enjoy, I mentioned early on in my presentation, is that I learned how to forage, like what plants to identify that I could eat. And I have really, solid basic mushroom identification. So that inclination of mine to go out and like literally collect up stuff is acted out in a different way. And so I think that that's okay to have that desire to go collect and want to, take care of myself. So I think that absolutely, yes, the repair cafes, like get people to do something better with their time than go shopping. So spend your time instead, sitting around with a group of people and putting patches on the knees of your pants, So, so I think that maybe change, habit, mindset, because it is a absolutely human natural inclination to want to collect up that stuff. So that, and then also, those, I do a lot of workshops and demonstrations, just letting people have that relationship with the plant or with the textiles, introducing them to what it really goes into making textiles. And then, last, if we just had the exact same issue, but we were using, natural fibers, you'd have to crop like way too much of the earth to grow cotton or raise sheep, or it'd be way too much landscape intensity if we had the same amount of clothes. So we just need less clothes. I hope that made sense. I think I was a little bit clumsy about trying to say that. So no, not just like shifting our entire wardrobe to natural. Yeah, that would like help, but we'd have too much earth land space to combine it. We just need less. And like I said, I feel like one of those avenues to less is, shifting our relationship with the clothes so that we value them, and then getting ourselves to do something else with our time that acts out that desire that we have right now that's just building big wardrobes.
So थैंक यू लेस्ली. डॉक्टर इस्माइल, ये सवाल है कि हम फास्ट फैशन जो है, जो आज की दुनिया में, जैसे हम लोग जल्दी जल्दी हमारा फैशन बदलता है और हम सिंथेटिक क्लोथ्स और ये सब इस्तेमाल करते हैं, इससे हम इस फास्ट फैशन से हम नेचुरल टेक्सटाइल्स की तरफ कैसे जाएं? ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कैसे होगा? मतलब एज अ कॉमन पर्सन हमको क्या करना चाहिए कि ये जो हम, जैसे आप कह रहे हो कि हम लोग पहले सिंथेटिक में काम करते थे, फिर धीरे धीरे हम लोग स्लो, मतलब हम लोग नेचुरल में आ गए, धीरे धीरे हमने सारा प्रोसेस चेंज किया, जबकि हम सबको मालूम है कि ये फास्ट फैशन हमारे शरीर के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. तो आपका क्या ख्याल है?
So that is, the coming slowly, and the people know about this facility, then they're doing, the former time, the people are wearing Ajrakh. When the Ajrakh is old, then they're making quilt. And then when is the quilt old, then he making some small quilt for the baby. And they are old, then are using in the kitchenware. So totally, I think is the life is about 100 years. They are use and use and use. So this is the one kind of the sustainability to many
Yes.
kind of the usable that. But people knowing this kind of the facility, then people buying. So, you know, we go to US in the Santa Fe marketing. There people are giving the training in the business. So what he say, you make a story, your product. Okay, what is this product, how making, how that is the people are buying. So, you know, the one my buyer from Canada, Maiba, he is coming to our home. He is taking video, he is taking photograph, and then he make one CD and selling in her shop, the $5 or $10. Customer coming, they're not buying anything, they're buying one CD or the $5 or $10. Then watching in the home, so he getting some knowledge. This cloth from India, this cloth from the this country, this cloth from this country, how he making, how hard work, how soft work, which kind of the color. So then go back to the shop and buying something. And then if he wear the shirt or he putting on the tablecloth, if he have the coming delegate, then he is make talk about 5 or 10 minutes. So this is any places the benefit. Now he says, this is your, we taking picture, we taking video, we not taking money from him. So he say, this is your money. If you need some education, boys, or some facility, you can take us. So each places we looking are the benefit and usable and everything. But people understand, and now people coming back. You know, the organic cloth, organic food, and we are eating food now. In Kutch, we have some farmer are, they are eating self, they are growing some separate seed, and for sellable seed is separate, because they are not coming the rat, but they are eating original. So food, wheat, everything, the people are coming back, because the problem with health, you know, today many people in India to eating tobacco. Why they eating tobacco? Because the problem in the blood. They're feeling not well in the mouth. So they are a little bit taking tobacco and putting inside, so they're feeling better. Why they eating? Because this is problem with in agriculture, they're using fertilizer, synthetic fertilizer. So the vitamin is not available enough, and then happen this. So people know, and people coming back to this side.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you, Dr. Ismail. And I think
Okay.
that's the. Sorry, you want to say something?
No.
Okay. So I think that we have now come to the end of this program, and the solution, one of the solution which Malkan is suggesting, is making re-wearing your wardrobe fashionable is the only way to make fashion, fast fashion, less appealing. Definitely, that's the thing to go. And also going back to the organic, because it's definitely good for our health. So if anybody else has any other good suggestion, I mean, we can share it in the chat. And I think we are already running out of time. So I would now tell Liliana to end this program. And I would say thank you everyone for joining this great discussion. And it's really quite a good exchange of information and thoughts.